Hello, my name is Ilona, and this video is more about giving some support to if you're personally attacked. And I'm talking about personal attacks when I'm talking about, like trolls. Of course, when you're on the internet, when you do vlogs, videos, or have a channel, you're going to be attacked. There are going to be dark energies, bots sent after you purposely to bring down the energy. They don't want you to speak out your truth or discourage you in continuing to speak your truth. Of course, you have those trolls. But I'm really want to talk about trolls in your, in your environment, in your personal life. There's so much going on now in the energy. The energy is, it's been raising, the energy being raising itself for quite some time now. We are really entering this new energy. And this is really a time for healing. So all things like pain, anger, frustration, all are coming up. They're now coming up. We need to deal with that. That's why I personally think shadow work is the most important work that we need to do now. If we want to step into our own authority, we need to deal with issues we still carry around with us. Especially issues that other people and other forces can use to manipulate us. That's why it's so important to see what triggers you, work through that. It's a process. Give yourself time. Be kind to yourself. It's a process a lot of us are working through. And there are going to be people in your environment, especially, things are coming up in their lives as well. Everyone is being affected by that. But there are people that do not want to look at themselves, that may not even be capable of having any self-reflection. So those people are stuck with a lot of feelings inside, anger, frustration, and some of them will take it out on you, especially when you shine your light, when you become more authentic, when you just be yourself to really shine brightly. It can be very terrifying for other people. It can be frustrating. It can be, maybe make them even angry or jealous or whatever, that their frustration that they are not dealing with, that they have to face and heal. If they're not doing that, it's most likely they're going to see this in you, see that you're making different choices. If you've always been a people pleaser and you're now going to say no to people, put up boundaries. These people are used to you acting in a certain way. They're not going to like it. So, and if they don't deal with their own things that can come up with that, it's a possibility they're going to attack you. They can really suddenly come from left field or even people that you weren't expecting. Maybe some colleagues suddenly out of the blue attack you. It's possible that's happening. Of course, always look at yourself. Is there something triggering? Is there something going on inside myself I can look at? But also keep in mind that, the masks are off. So people can get very vicious, and it may not always have to do with you. So it's very important to understand that this can happen. Don't be afraid. First of all, of course, if you become stronger, it won't affect you in that way anymore. But sometimes, when you're very sensitive, it can still hurt. It can still come in. Very important to see what still needs to be healed, obviously, because the stronger you get, the less it will hurt. But I also want to talk about is what I call not necessarily trolls, because you have them all in all these different mixture trolls kind of things. Of course, you have the people that really truly are there to just attack you, but there are also people that I call a bit spiritual arrogance, so to speak, that use spiritual terms, psychological terms. I've talked about this before, I believe, also in a video about emotional blackmail, if I'm not mistaken. They use terms, spiritual terms, and they can be very spiritual people working with spirituality. But if they're not grounded, if they're not looking inside themselves, they can have this tendency of putting themselves above you. I've had it in a reaction to a video I've made. And in last weeks, I had a couple of reactions that had the same energy to it. But first of all, I want to thank everyone, because really, most of all my reactions that I get are very lovely, are very warm, are very loving. And I truly want to thank everyone. I truly appreciate that. I'm very thankful for all these lovely reaction that I'm getting. It really helps me. It makes me happy. It supports me. So thank you very much for that. But, you know, sometimes there are reactions. If they're really disrespectful, I just, you know, block them, because why would I even bother doing something with them? If they are very, very negative, sometimes YouTube already takes them away because they've used certain words that YouTube doesn't like. But, you know, if someone in a respectful way disagrees with me, I'm fine with that. I just leave their opinion. That's fine. I want to emphasize it's an opinion. This is my opinion. This is not the truth. I just don't know if I know the truth or not, but I know my truth. So this is the opinion. I stand, of course, for this opinion. This is what I feel right now. This is what I believe in right now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be, sharing this in videos. But it's still my opinion. So you have to see yourself if it resonates with you or not. And I do believe it's important to also listen to other opinions. So if people are very respectful, I just leave the other opinion, the other reactions as well. I just mostly react with, well, I disagree, and that's fine. And I leave it so other people can read it as well, so they see another side as well. I think that's very important. But these are the people, and I just want to mention it because it can happen in a very manipulative way, and especially in the spiritual world. Someone can use spirituality as a tool to really not look at themselves and really just focus on you. I've had that lately in a reaction. Someone wasn't very pleased with how I do certain things. That it doesn't really matter what it was about. But it was obviously that this person was completely focused on that I had to almost, how do you say this? I had to explain myself to them. And then they were going to tell me how I should be doing this. So I felt it already in the energy. If someone leaves a reaction, you kind of feel the energy. So I just responded with, well, you are one of the first people that mentioned this. Not a lot of people have this same, issue as you. So I'm just going to leave it at this. That's kind of what I've mentioned. And then she reacted immediately with, see, you're not open for discussion. You don't want to see your side of it. You don't want to, it's immediately piling on that it had to do with me. Interesting. There's no point responding to people. So it can be very, like personal attacks, if someone is disrespectful, But there are very sneaky methods people can do to manipulate you. And especially when they're using spiritual terms, especially because a lot of us are spiritually oriented, working with consciousness. It can have a way of getting in there that you're like, oh, does this have to do with me? Is this really is my issue? Maybe this person knows more than I do, because they can really use things like, well, I've channeled this, I got this through, and that's why this is the way it is. You have to be very careful with that. You have to be very careful, and that's why I always mention, if I do talk about messages I've received, that doesn't mean that's the truth. The more grounded we are, the more we stand in our strength. We don't have to worry about dark energies giving us information or messages. They won't be able to come in. But if someone is not grounded, if someone doesn't want to take a look at themselves, it is possible. They can be very spiritual people. They can be open. But it doesn't mean that what they receive is the truth, or is in a way... like I said, it's difficult to know what's truth or not. That's why I always keep that open. But it's possible dark energies are actually channeling things. So there'll be truth in there. There'll be truth in there. They always put some truth in there. But still, they'll manipulate it or twist it in a different way. So that's why you have to be very careful when you get things through, that you first take a look at it and see if it truly resonates with you. Don't immediately assume that is the truth and that is the only truth. That's why you have to be very, very careful. If people really start saying, well, this is the truth and you're wrong, you don't see it the right way, then I'm kind of just walking away, I'm kind of running away. Because really, in this world, with all these things going on, it's very difficult to tell what's really the truth or not. The only thing you can rely on is what feels right to you. That's why I always mention. don't follow me in that way. Just make your own judgment. That's what this is about. And if you receive things, always look at that as well. Does this really resonate with me? And keep it open for other people. Don't say this as, well, this is the truth. This is the way it is. Keep it open so other people can see if it resonates with them or not. That's how I bring my videos. At least that's my intention. I actually got a card that fell out. That was the Wheel of Fortune. So people, this has to do with karmic karma that needs to be relived as well. So especially in the spiritual world, maybe it's also connected to what happened in Atlantis. Maybe we followed the wrong people, or we gave away, especially spiritually, to sources outside of ourselves. It's very possible that happened. So it's now very important that we actually take that back and really look at it from ourselves, from our own connection with source, intuition, with God. I also got these cards, and I shuffled them in my Dutch video, by the way. The Four of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, and the Tower. How do you handle that? How do you handle with people that actually could, on a personal level, and I'm talking about your environment, it could be a very good friend you've been friends with for a very long time, suddenly attacking you, or just things like that can happen also in the spiritual world. But just what should you do if that's happening? Well, the Four of Pentacles is really take care of your own energy. Really cherish your own energy. Make sure that where you focus on and put up your boundaries, that you really are sharing it with people that feel good to you, that are respectful. Also look at more lightly. So if you're dealing with people, maybe in your family, that you really cannot avoid sometimes, or you cannot really take, how do you say this? Keep a distance. It's important to keep a distance from those people. But if you do meet them, keep it light. Keep it superficial in a way. So just let them be, just see it as, all right, they're not ready to open up. They're not ready to see this. That's fine. I'm going to leave it at this. So keep it light, use humor, very important. And the Tower to me felt like you can, you are like this, I got the Dutch word, bliksemschicht. Like this, you kind of break down their tower. You can be a threat to them by being open, by being, truthful to your own truths, by being authentic, by speaking your mind. That can be terrifying for them. It's like you're tearing apart their tower that they've built up, which is not built on anything, so it's really going to fall down anyway. So you can be very terrifying. Keep that in mind. You don't have to, don't change your way. Don't change who you are. Just follow your own path, because that's the most important part. And we need people that speak their truth. But especially with people cannot handle them, and you do have to, work maybe with them. Keep your distance. It's pointless in how do you say this? Trying to connect with them, because they're not open-minded to them, and to them you are a threat. And the last card I got was the Temperance. It's a very important card of really work on yourself, balance yourself. The more balanced you are, the stronger you are. You don't have to be worried about the messages you receive, because you will know those are the right messages for you and they fit with you. The more grounded we are, the more in balance we are, the more balanced messages we'll get. And this is really about empowerment. So if you receive messages or get messages that actually take away your power, leave it. That's not the right message. But the stronger you get, you don't have to worry about that anymore. And the more balanced you get on your journey, you will attract more balanced people as well, because that's the energy you will reflect around you. So you will attract more people that are balanced as well. So the people that are not in balance, they will fall away. And the people that ultimately want help, that are opening themselves up to help, they will find you, because your balance will help them balance themselves. And the more you deal with your own things, your own pains, your own anger, the more you can help other people deal with their pain, their anger, their fears, if they're open for that. Very important. Someone needs to be open to receive help. They don't want it, there's no point. So that's the most important thing if we're dealing with these personal attacks, to really focus on your own balance, work on your own things, and then you'll see things changing. But keep in mind that you can be perceived as a threat to them. And so these attacks could come from that point of view from them. And especially people using all these psychological terms or spiritual terms to really focus on what you should change, what you should do, that it has to do with you. Leave them, because just let them be who they want to be, because there's really not much point. They are not willing to have a real true dialogue, which means they have to look at themselves as well. It's pretty pointless, to be very honest. I'd like to leave it at this. Hope to see you in another video. Bye.